There's a saying that goes, if I'm too much, find less. If this is something you relate to, then I'm speaking to you because I happen to very much enjoy talking. I love conversing with others. I enjoy playing with words and exploring ideas. And I'm aware that for some people, that might be a bit much, and I appreciate that because we all operate at different frequencies. And so I think it's very important that we are able to communicate and give good feedback within conversation that tells others where we are comfortable. As adults speaking with adults, we should be able to say, hey, could we change the tempo, tone, volume, and if needed, explain that in some way it's causing us to feel certain ways we'd rather not. So if somebody's being very loud, it could be hurting your ears. If they're being really hyper, it could be agitating. If, you know, they're talking super fast, it might be really hard to follow what they're saying. And so I feel when I encounter that, it's important for me to give feedback and say, hey, could we slow it down or adjust the volume or whatever it might be. Just say, hey, I'm not in a place to meet you where you are. That's that's sometimes the actual factual truth of it is as much as I appreciate someone's enthusiasm, maybe I'm fighting a headache or I'm tired or I'm sad about something and I just can't meet them there, though I would other times. And so for people who can maybe relate to the idea of being too much, I'd like to say that it's not so much that any one style of communication is problematic. It's that we need to be able to, number one, hear and evaluate feedback we receive. Yes, if somebody's like, whoa, okay, maybe it's good to be able to downshift a little bit and meet people where they are. That is important for just courteous communication. Yeah? Um, we also need to be able to give feedback because another person may not realize how their affect is affecting us. And it's it's courteous and it's useful because then adjustments can be made and effective communication can continue. Whereas if I don't say anything and I'm just sort of withdrawn or shielding myself from something, they're not going to be successful in communicating what it is they want me to know. I'm not going to be able to take it on board. I'm not going to be able to figure out if it's of benefit to me or if I have any response to it, right? And it's going to break down the system because I'm not speaking up as an adult and saying, hey, I need a little adjustment here. And when people say this to me, I try not to take it personally because it's not about my values, my character, my intent, my heart. It's simply something that I'm transmitting and different people are going to receive it differently. And that's why I think it's important we do form good connections with people who do have similar or compatible communication styles. It can be complementary as long as everybody's comfortable and it works, but communication styles really do matter. And I think that we forget how varied those styles are. And folks feel like, oh, I'm too much. Like, maybe not. There are a lot of people would really appreciate what a person could bring if they were able to receive it and process it. Not everybody can. And instead of saying that, oh, I'm too much, I shouldn't be like this, it's about being able to recognize that in a moment, certain adjustments may be required. It may be necessary to ask for certain adjustments ourselves. And when we can come into that range with each other, communication should be able to flow comfortably again. And so it's about being able to make those little shifts in the moment as it matters, but not to change who we are. It's like musical notes. If you put certain notes together, they're terribly dissonant, and you combine them with other notes, they're beautifully harmonious. There's nothing wrong with the note. A C note shouldn't stop being a C note because it doesn't sound good with a D, right? And a D shouldn't change to be harmonious with a C. It's just that C and E should play together instead, right? And I think it's helpful to remember that this is not this isn't one is better than the other necessarily. Certain ways of approaching are more effective with different people at different times, and being able to distinguish what is the best approach is always going to be better than saying, this is how I am. Because it's at that level, yeah, you have to evaluate for whether or not maybe you are being arrogant, bombastic, bullying, condescending, or otherwise grating and unpleasant to people. Or if perhaps it's just you have more to bring than they can necessarily receive in a moment. And as long as the behavior is respectful and reciprocal, I think that it's wonderful that there are people in this world who have so much to share. It's a beautiful form of human connection, and I'm sad when people feel they have to tamp it down because other people aren't able to effectively communicate their needs in a conversation or meet a person where they are to an extent that it's collaborative, cooperative, mutual. And yeah, I've had this a few times where people make me feel like I'm way too much, and I appreciate that I bring a lot. I appreciate how it could be a bit overwhelming. I am rather verbose, but at the same time, I trust other adults to be able to communicate with me where their comfort level is, and I'm happy to meet them there if they can do that effectively and respectfully. But if somebody just wants to say that I'm too much, I'm gonna sort of take it under advisement, but not to heart. I think that we need to be able to separate out a person's opinion from the larger fact of our experience. And yeah, so if somebody's making you feel like you really gotta dim your light for their comfort, that's always a bad sign. It's never a good sign, right? And the difference is in saying, in this moment, I need you to make an adjustment to meet me where I am. That's perfectly healthy, responsible, respectable adult communication. And now, when dealing with children, it's a little different. But I'm talking about adults here. And the difference would be somebody saying, you are this way, you are too much, you need to change. And that crosses a line for me that becomes more of an ad hominem kind of, not quite an attack, but it's not sound, useful feedback in the moment that a person can take up and adjust to without being asked to compromise who they are in a larger way. And I think that's what we have to look out for. We have to be sensitive and responsive to people asking us for modifications in a moment that, again, maybe could we bring the volume down? Could you talk a little more slowly? I'm sorry, I can't really meet you where you are. I'm happy you're so excited, but I'm feeling a little sore. Could we talk about this later? These are the things that are very reasonable and have very much to do with guiding a person through an exchange with care and regard. And when it becomes a question of saying you're too much, or you're overwhelming, or you are domineering, or whatever it might be, it becomes a different matter. It's a question of them saying, you need to change how you are in a general way so that when I deal with you, I'm comfortable. And that's just not healthy. And I would advise you make adjustments as it's helpful, but hold your ground where it's about being who you are and communicating in the way that helps you to feel the most connected with people who can meet you there and appreciate what you bring. All right, so that's my quick little bit on communication for today. Hope it helps.